Hello everyone, my name is Dennis. The course for this presentation is Exploring Entrepreneurship and Economics, Putting it all together. The agenda for this presentation is as follows. The first one is a brief summary, viability of the business plan, HelloFresh, a viable and sustainable company, analysis of DLI's business plan, viability of Spindrift Soda Company, sales process of engineering for keys, legal and ethical considerations for franchising, intellectual property rights and violations, world of water sports and international expansion strategy, what I learned from each assignment. A brief summary. Exploring entrepreneurship and economics examines the relationship between economics and potential entrepreneurial ventures. In the course of 5 weeks, the course explores several areas, including viability of the business plan of HelloFresh, the meal kit food delivery firm, analysis of DLI's business plan and how the business plan was instrumental to its success, viability of Spindrift Soda Company, the producer of Spindrift Soda, sales process of engineering for keys, analysis of the growth strategy of the water sports equipment company. Wow. Finally, it was time for putting it all together as we sit hard as reflect on the lessons learned from previous weeks. Viability of the business plan. As it were, the success of any entrepreneurial venture depends on the viability of the business. Feasibility analysis is a veritable tool that aids decision making when the viability or otherwise of a project or business idea has to be examined. Feasibility analysis is of utmost importance to an entrepreneur and has two audiences, the internal and the external audience. The external audience include investors, financial organizations, and so on and so forth. It has to be done across 4 distinct areas: product or service to be delivered, industry or target market to target, organizational and financial. HelloFresh, a viable and sustainable company. Food delivery firms play an essential role in the health and well-being of every country's citizen. Their usefulness became even more critical as a global pandemic hit the world in 2020. In the review of the best meal delivery services of 2021, Cassidy Austin listed 8 companies based on several criteria. The evaluation was based on criteria such as quality of ingredients, recipe accuracy and variety, difficulty, speed, taste, and so on and so forth. Home Chef, HelloFresh, and Every Plate were listed as first, second, and third among all the various firms that were considered for the review. Although HelloFresh was rated second after Home Chef, I choose HelloFresh as the company I would like to invest in as an investor, partly because of its environmental programs. Environmental issues such as global warming and climate change and how an organization's operation impact the environment must be taken into account by every organization. A substantial amount of waste and pollution is associated with the food supply chain. For instance, CO2 emissions during production and transportation, spoilage during storage, delivery, and consumption. Uh, Over 33% of food produced worldwide goes to waste, resulting in the loss of cycle 9.936 billion per annum. About 8% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions are associated with food production, and the total cost of greenhouse gas emissions from global food wastage is around $411 billion. Therefore, it was heartwarming to see sustainability principles reflected in HelloFresh's business model, which makes it a company of choice for me. HelloFresh has an outstanding performance in 2020 amid the COVID-19 pandemic. To assure sustainability practices, HelloFresh business model is built around five cardinal points. First, a diligent supplier onboarding process that emphasizes quality and sustainability. Order management system that ensures only what is needed is ordered at any particular time in order to reduce waste. Elimination of 66% of food waste across its value chain. A target of a target to offset 100% of its carbon emissions. Optimization of logistics and distribution with the use of an advanced algorithms. Donating foods to those who need them and might not be able to afford good meals. These impeccable sustainability credentials allow HelloFresh, as it were, to create a blue ocean strategy for itself that set it apart from its peers through robust value innovation. HelloFresh posted an impressive 2020 financial performance with a revenue growth projected at between 95% to 105%. This indicates the team must have conducted a thorough feasibility analysis before its launch in 2011. Organizational feasibility is an important aspect that assesses the managerial competence at the entrepreneur's disposal or group of entrepreneurs. HelloFresh is headed by Dominic Richter, who is the founder and CEO. His profile revealed that with MSc in finance, Richter was a principal strategist at Goldman Sachs before co-founding HelloFresh in 2011 with his long-term friend and college mate, Thomas Grisser, who has an enviable resume as an entrepreneur as well. Analysis of Delight's business plan. Entrepreneurs are motivated by various reasons or factors. One, the desire for independence, the desire to pursue, the desire to pursue wealth, the desire to pursue their ideas such as solving societal problems. Sam Goldman became an entrepreneur to solve the challenge of lack of light in rural areas across the world based on his personal experience in Africa, where he spent about 4 years. However, having an altruistic desire to solve set of problems is one thing, and developing the ideas to attract the needed capital for the realization of the objective is yet another. Ideas about setting up a business to pursue one's dreams usually start with developing a business plan that precedes a detailed feasibility analysis. The business plan is an essential document with two kinds of audiences, the internal and the external as well. Sam Goldman's strong focus on the delight's business plan was beneficial to the firm by maintaining focus on their goals and raising the required investment capital for their new venture. Goldman's, Goldman's presentation skills and the use of storytelling with pictures were incredibly instrumental in their success with business plan competitions. Winning the prize, $250,000, of the Draper Fisher Juventus Venture Challenge competition was a starting point to success for Sam and his team. The funds provided the seeding capital for the commencement of the project's initial development in the summer of 2007. Certain attributes distinguishes successful social entrepreneurs. For instance, achievement orientation, tenacity and initiative, the courage to take advantage of opportunities, networking and influencing others, leadership, collaboration, and creative thinking. These qualities are essential ingredients responsible for the success of any entrepreneurial venture. Therefore, Goldman and his team must embrace this quality for the continuous success of their firm. To assure the firm's enduring success, it will be necessary for the activities of Delight to be scaled up and go beyond the provision of light to the provision of electricity infrastructure in those communities. Full-scale solar power generation for some communities will be more beneficial than the provision of lanterns for households. This can be achieved through collaboration with the governments and other private organizations in those countries. Viability of Spindrift Soda Company. Beverages play an essential role in most American social life, mainly the traditional soda like Coke and Pepsi. These products have become almost universal considering their acceptability across the world. However, the harmful effects of sugar-sweetened beverages prompts government across uh, most American states to make efforts to regulate their consumptions. Developing healthier alternative beverages such as Spindrift soda will positively impact most Americans' health and well-being, which will create entrepreneurial opportunities for new ventures to thrive. Spindrift soda is one such healthier alternatives to the traditional soda in the United States. Produced by Spindrift Beverage Co. LLC, it is available in 6 different flavors and transported chilled to preserve its freshness. B. Creeman founded Spindrift in 2010. Creamer has spent a considerable length of time in the healthy drinks industry, having co-founded Stearings in 1997 and was with Stearings until 2009. Stearings is a producer of cocktails in Louisville, KY. Creamer's early life was spent on a farm in western Massachusetts, where everything was fresh and unprocessed. The love for fresh and healthy beverages led Big Creamer to co-found Stearings in 1997 and eventually established Spindrift Beverage Co. in 2010. As it were, if I have to invest in Spindrift, I will want to know about the founding entrepreneur or entrepreneurs and his management team and their experiences in the industry. For instance, I will request for copies of the financial statements, including the income statement, the balance sheet, the statement of cash flows for the past 5 years to ascertain the trend. Analysis of financial statement has been recognized as a robust decision-making tool for investors for assessing the viability of a business or for screening banned stock to invest in. Applying ratio analysis to the cash flow to determine the return on assets, return on equity, and profit margin will expose the firm's health. Investing in Spindrift makes business sense because of the enormous market potential and will also help improve Americans' health and well-being by providing a healthier alternative to traditional soda. Considering the competition from the traditional soda companies such as Coca-Cola and Pepsi, the viability of Spindrift would depend on the firm's ability to create a robust distribution channels for the safe distribution of its products across the United States. As Spindrift president, to ensure I retain a significant level of control and protect my key employees, I will opt for a dual-class share structure to keep substantial voting power on the board if Spindrift have to go public. A dual-class share structure allows insider to hold superior shares with higher voting rights, usually 10 votes per share, unlike the inferior shares owned by outsiders with 1 vote per share. Sales process of engineering for keys. Science, technology, engineering, and math play a unique role in developing the world. The advances made in medical science, aviation, transportation, and all other modern civilization aspects would have been impossible without STEM. A study conducted by Intercorp indicates that 63% of teenagers in the United States have never thought about a profession in engineering. Lack of interest in STEM courses appear to be widespread. Therefore, it is gratifying that Engineering for Kids is pioneering STEM interest development through 6-week after-school programs that target pre-kindergarten through the 8th grade students. However, stimulating interest in STEM courses will enhance the United States economic development and increase its international competitiveness through innovative technology. Organizations develop goods and services to sell them following some process steps. A firm's sales cycle or process describes the stages it undertakes to sell its products, which begins with identifying prospective customers and eventually closing the sale, and is comprised of 7 steps. First, prospect for or gather sales lead. Second, making initial contact with the prospects. Third, qualifying the candidates. Fourth, making sales presentation. Sixth, addressing the least objections or concerns after such presentations. And finally, closing the sales and ensuring a follow-up. Engineering for Keys will have to follow these steps to market its product to prospective franchises across the United States to enhance the franchise sales. However, franchising involves some legal and ethical considerations. So franchising has been recognized as a veritable business model for growth and expansion. The franchise as a form of business is recognized by law. Therefore, engineering for case must consider the legal ramifications of the franchising process. The relevant agreement must carefully spell out issues relating to trademark and royalty payments between engineering for keys and its franchisees. Although the offer and sale of franchise are regulated at both federal and state level in the United States, disputes resulting from franchisor-franchisee relationship are adjudicated at the state level under contract law. However, some ethical issues do arise in the relationship between the franchisors and the franchisees. One such ethical issue is the get-rich-quick mentality exhibited by some franchising organizations. Intellectual property rights and violations. Trademarks is one of the most crucial franchising aspects because the franchisor grants the franchisee the right to use its name, business model, and brand in exchange for fees or royalties, or both of them. Trademarks help prevent counterfeiting and promote the originality of products. Franchising allows firms to achieve scale with minimal resources. It will enable engineering for keys to increase in the domestic market in the United States. Engineering for key must protect its trademarks to prevent abuses and counterfeiting. Also, a mechanism for a robust franchisor-franchisee relationship management must be developed. Relationships do go sour from time to time, however, and risk mitigation strategies must be in place to minimize the impact of such strained relationships. Wars of water sports and international expansion strategy. Growth is a natural phenomenon, and like everything in life, business organizations also grow. In business, however, growth is seen as an imperative and not an option, as sustained success and maximization of stakeholders' values depends on it. Organizations can either grow organically or externally, following some well-thought-out strategies. Firms usually pursue one or three approaches to grow internally. First, either through new product development. Second, other product-related strategies such as improving an existing product or service or geographical expansion. And finally, international expansion. The world of water sports international expansion drives success will be predicated on the kind of expansion strategy it chooses and how the procedure is crafted and implemented. International expansion is an attractive strategy for firms in the United States because over 90% of the people living in the world reside outside the United States, with almost 70% purchasing power. There are various avenues, however, for global expansion depending on what is suitable for a particular organization at a particular time. Exporting goods and services, licensing, joint ventures, franchising, turnkey projects, and wholly owned subsidiary are some of the most popular international expansion strategies. Costs associated with direct exporting, such as entry costs, variable trade costs, tariffs, and transportation costs are essential factors to be considered when the decision of which country to expand to is taken. Exporting products and services is usually the first global expansion strategy considered by most American firms. Thus, the world of water sports best strategy to establish a foothold in international locations are exporting its products to neighboring countries such as Canada and Mexico, licensing firms in those countries to manufacture and sell the products, or franchising. One of the merits of concentrating on this country is distance and lower transportation costs. Also, the almost non-existent tariffs between the I take that again. Also, the almost non-existent tariffs because of the trade benefits of NAFTA, which is North American Free Trade Agreement, which is now United States Mexico Canada Agreement, USMCA, which became operational on July 1st, 2020. Success might depend on the ability of WO to pursue both vertical and horizontal product line extension by ensuring the availability of a robust product variety in the international target markets. Finally, what I learned from these assignments. Punching the ticket and wrapping up, I have learned a lot from each and every one of the weekly assignments. Some of what I learned are: week one. Week one taught me the importance of the usefulness of a meticulously made feasibility analysis. Feasibility analysis is a tool that helps the entrepreneur to test the viability or robustness of his business idea. Week two taught me about the necessity of a robust business plan and how Delight's team used their business plan to lay a foundation for their business, but also raise the initial capital for the business. The team identified a need and worked to fill an institutional void, which was lack of electricity in rural communities. Week three was very interesting as I learned how some personal passion for a product can be turned into a business for the benefit of the community and the world. Bill Creamer founded Spindrift in 2010, and prior to this, he co-founded Stearings in 1997, which produces cocktails in Louisville. In week four, Engineering for Kids demonstrate how the ability to envision the future can help an organization to identify an issue and take advantage of it. Lack of interest in the engineering discipline has become widespread. Therefore, Engineering for Kids is pioneering STEP interest development through 6-week after-school programs that target pre-kindergarten through the 8th grade students. In week five, I learned why international expansion is a preferred growth strategy for most United States entrepreneurial firms. First, for instance, over 90% of the people living in the world reside outside the United States, with almost 70% purchasing power. Exporting goods and services, licensing, joint venture, franchising, turnkey projects, and wholly owned subsidiaries are some of the most popular international expansion strategies. The world's best strategy to establish a foothold in international location will be exporting, licensing, and franchising. So below in the following slides are the various sources that I consulted in order to make up this presentation. So starting with this page and the next page and this page finally. Thank you very much for your attention today. If you have any questions for me, this is the time to ask those questions, please. Well, it appears there are no questions. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for your time. This is the end of my presentation. I'll see you again some other time. Bye bye for now.